Hello everyone, I am Dr. Shilpa. I am a pediatrician and I am blessed with a wealth of knowledge of 15 years of experience in pediatrics. I am a devoted mother of two children, and out of which Neil is a remarkable 10-year-old boy with a dual diagnosis of Down syndrome and autism, and hence my passion for the topic. In this video, I'm going to focus mainly on early years group children and children in primary school. It will be helpful for parents and teachers to use these educational strategies for them. It is important to acknowledge that each person with Down syndrome is born with a inherited uniqueness. Each of them have the right to achieve their own potential, to have a purposeful and meaningful life as an adult. We all know that human development is woven with the threads of biology, environment, community, as well as all the opportunities that come to our path. By recognizing these evidence-based approaches, we can tailor the interventions and educational strategies which are suited for the specific learning profile for these children with Down syndrome. So my talk is mainly will be focusing on the areas of communication, reading, comprehension, maths, physical strengths, syllabus, or classroom adaptations. Before we begin, I wanted to tell you something about inclusion. I strongly believe in inclusion. There are many studies out there to show that including people with Down syndrome in mainstream communities definitely help them to have a better intelligible speech. The difference could be between 78% in mainstream schools and about 52% in special schools in one of the studies. By many studies, we know that by the age of 31, 49% of people with Down syndrome, they can read reasonably well. They can write reasonably well. Around 34% can live independently. Around 30% can travel independently. And hence the importance of inclusion that helps them to achieve their own potential and excel in their own areas. UNICEF mentions that education should be a place where everyone is valued, where diversity is seen encouraging. And I think hence when Neil started school, he was just 4 years old and he was completely non-verbal. I would have given up if I did not knew all these strategies after lots of training, and that helped him survive through the primary education. Learning new topic can be a little bit, yeah, they can refuse for a new topic, but I think if you correlate that new topic with the previously learned topic and build up on the previously learned learnings, then it's much easier. Next area to cover is physical. Now, Down syndrome has poor gross motor power, hypotonia. Because of hypotonia, there will be certain things which needs to be taken care of. For example, pencil grip. For example, turning pages. Initially, when Neil was 5-6 years old and he was not interested in reading. And the only reason he was not interested in reading because the pages were really folding and he couldn't hold down the pages. And when only one by one page was given, he was fine. So just tiny bits of things, but yes, the gross motor power is much lesser to be considered. They might have poor writing tasks in between. We remembered from year 1 to 3, we hardly had any writings because of the motor power. During that time, we really had a very good use of typing or match the words or filling the blanks, where the writing part is lesser, but you're still assessing the knowledge. That really helped. Prolonged sitting, prolonged standing can be painful, especially as the child grows older. There could be problems of scoliosis, or there could be problems of flat feet where they can't stand for long or can't run for long. Just have a consideration for the same. Hence the sitting classroom, rather than sitting and facing sideways to the board, it's good that they face in the front where they are not constantly straining their neck or their back. Their feet being flat on the floor, the angle of the hips being 90 degrees when they are sitting rather than prolonged dangling of the legs. They need regular movement breaks, so the attention span might be lesser. Understanding of where the topic starts, where it ends, And then what do I get? I get a movement break, or I get a break. I get to roam around in the class after that topic. That really helps. Again, gaining pupils' attention before giving instructions. For example, if the teacher is starting a new topic and just mentioning, or maybe 3 clap, everyone look here near me, are you with me? In the same way that you're just saying the name, particular child's name, and then you gain the attention more better than just starting the topic. Fear is most of the time linked to communication. It is because of poor communication. And once the communication is not set in, and once the child learns the frustration behavior, it's really hard for them to come back. So rather than prevention is better than cure. And hence there are few strategies which we can help for them. So first thing is, so daily transitions. Transition is really important because it can be really difficult for them, especially if there's a dual diagnosis of autism. Transition can be challenging, and hence giving them advance notices. 5 minutes now, 4 minutes now, 2 minutes now, now that time is up. In that way, the transitions can be managed, but advance prior notice is must. Using the next and now and next boards, really helpful. So we'll be doing this first and then next. So it really helps them to choose. Even we can give them a choice of choosing what do they want to do next. If the child wants to do drawing, so okay, we'll do this maths topic first and then drawing. That really helps. Routine, they survive on routine. It is important, but we should be careful that yes, routines are helpful for the daily attendance of the school, but we should be a little bit careful that hope that routine it's not so restrictive that is affecting their daily functions, daily activities. This affecting their sleep because of that routine, and hence little bit deviation from the routine is also recommended at the same time. I wanted to tell you something about social stories. I did mention that in our BBC movie as well, where so social stories are important. They are visual. So for example, Neil was constantly pushing in the lunch break, and I kept telling him no pushing in the school, no pushing, and we just can't get through it. And I just made a social story that a child standing, Neil pushed. That made the child unhappy. Actually, with the drawing the face of unhappiness, the teacher was unhappy, Mummy got angry, Neil unhappy. But what could we need to give them the replacement behavior? And what Neil could have done rather than pushing. And that really helped. From the next day, there was no pushing at all. So social stories help. Mostly visual. As they grow older and older, the visualness can come down. But when they are early years, we need lots of pictures, lots of expressions in those social stories. They copy. So keeping them with so-called naughty children, the behavior will be copied. So front of the class better. Now understanding negatives, rather than saying don't run. If you just say what to do, walk. So try to avoid negatives, understanding negatives, or they just don't like negatives, I feel. So yeah, this rather than positive reinforcement always works better than negative reinforcements. Clear warnings. As I said, in visual timetables, very clear warning. We are going to start clear beginnings and clear endings. We're going to start this. We're going to do sum number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Once you complete 6 questions, it will be the end of the activity. And then you can choose what's next. Sometimes timers help. So we do lots of use of timers, 5 minutes, 15 minutes timers. Visual timetables, we've already talked about it. Behaviors. So the main thing about behavior is there are 3 categories of behavior. The behaviors which are life-threatening, you just stop there with a firm stop. The behaviors which are not life-threatening but which are annoying, which you don't want it, those behaviors you need to give a replacement behavior. If they're not supposed to push, what are they supposed to do? If they're not supposed to pull hair, what are they supposed to do? And you have to actually feed them words. Can I play with you? Can I take turns? Can I please take something like that? So you just give the words, give them some words for that replacement behavior. With the All with the good behavior, of course, there has to be reward for the positive behavior, but there has to be specific, clear praise, clear reward. Well done for doing this. Well done for sitting on the carpets for 5 minutes. So it has to be specific reward, not after the whole class is done, or after 1 hour you're giving the reward. That doesn't count. Now, if suppose there is a meltdown, or if suppose there is a big challenging behavior which now the child is out of their control and you can't just stop that behavior, such behaviors can be calmed down by the next interest. So if the child is not able to come inside the house because they want to still keep going and keep having the walk, what next can we do inside the house? What's the next interesting activity they can do inside the house? Shall we go inside and do some painting? And that's how that meltdown is calmed down. Next very important thing is they take up the mood. So when they have a meltdown, you going anxious and angry, it's not going to help, because they take up the mood. If they are in a classroom and the child next to him starts crying, they will be crying. They will be, rather than going and consoling them, they will be crying themselves. So they take up the mood. So hence us keeping us calm and quiet, they will take up that mood to become calm and quiet. Speak clearly and slowly. I have reduced my speed of my talking a lot with Neil, and that has made a big difference. It takes practice, but it helps. Giving instructions in the order they will happen. Rather than saying, can you please go and find your book, before that you go and have a shower and then come down and wear your shoes, it's just too much. Give instructions in the order they are happening. Have shower, get your book, come down, wear shoes. Literally very short sentences, short instructions, but in the order it's happening. It's very important to do that. Help them to learn appropriate social behaviors. Again, they need to learn what is appropriate, what is not appropriate. And it's good to have them, if on the day something didn't go right, so on the day sitting then, this was not appropriate, instead you could do this. This is appropriate, but it has to be visual and more clear to them on a paper. Now, self-regulation. This we came to know quite late. In one of the training I learned, self-regulation is very important, and that needs to be taught. We as typical individuals, we automatically learn how to self-regulate or what not to do if we get angry, but they don't have that self-regulation until it is taught. There's a very good zones of regulations which I have put up as a picture. It's important to have a look at it. And if the child is dysregulated, the child needs to know where the support is offered, or which is the trusted adult he can go to if he's not able to self-regulate. And it comes as a practice. Ultimately, one day the child knows how to self-regulate on its own. And even they need to taught of how to ask for help. They might not know how to ask help, so modeling that, asking for help as well when needed. They might need to actually be taught the persuasive language, pleading language, or literally words, question words. If the behavior persists, if the bad behavior persists, it is because it is being rewarded. So, and the reward might not be obvious, because they are gaining those rewards with those behaviors. So I think the staff response must change if the student's behavior is going to change. That's what I feel is important. Now, the golden points of what I learned till now. The aim is not to close the gap. He is in mainstream not to close the gap between him and his peers. The aim is to let him climb his own steps. Let them have their own progress. Keep high expectations. Keep high patience. That is the key for all of us. I know it's a spectrum, and some children will be severely affected. Some might be mildly affected. But there is one thing which is definitely sure. The more input you give, the more output you get. Once I remember when Neil started school, I had a word with the principal. the head teacher. And that sentence is really very strong. Gather reason to keep them in the school rather than finding reasons to make them go away. Because the most important thing for inclusion is the will to make it happen. If you have that will, I'm sure inclusion can take place. I hope you find this video very helpful, and I hope things which some things which you didn't had it, you might have learned some things new. Sometimes some people, you might just know everything, but I felt that let's keep it on a video so that it can reach to all the people, all the parts of world who are not aware of what to do. If I didn't knew after having all these trainings, even I was at the stage where I could have given up. But I think training matters, and that helps them achieve best, and that makes us happy. So yeah, you yourself be the change you wish to see in the world. Thank you for listening. Thank you.